a day today with 3 things to celebrate: 100 Flosstube episodes, 6 years on Flosstube this month, and 4,000 subscribers. I am just blown away. I am blown away by the love from this community and how much I enjoy doing these videos for you. I am so glad you are here. If you have been with me since the beginning, I love you. I love you bunches. Thank you so much for sticking with me for 6 years while I've shot these videos. Sometimes a little crazy, sometimes a little off. Always try to be informative, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And for all the new people that are joining me now, thank you so much for subscribing. My tips and tricks video has just blown up and has brought all these people to me, and I absolutely love it. And it's great to see all the camaraderie and everybody joining in with me. There will be a Flosstube Part 2 for tips and tricks. I have it in the works. I will try to get it done within this week. I have been a little off this week, physically and mentally, and I just didn't feel like I was up to shooting those videos. I think I'm going to do it in little segments. I think it'll work a lot better if I shot it in little segments so that I can show you different things and I don't have to film it all at once like I did last time. So I'm probably going to do that. I have it all planned out. I've just got to get to the point where I can sit and do it. So stay tuned. It will be, and it's going to be as awesome as the first one. So you got to hang in there. So welcome everybody. I have a lot of stitching to show, but not necessarily all cross stitch this time. I have worked on my cross stitch in the last 2 weeks, but I've worked a lot on my wool applique, and I really would like to share that with you this time. If you are here just for the cross stitch, I will let you know when I'm done with cross stitch, and you can go ahead and say goodbye to me. And those of you that want to hang around just to see another craft and see how it looks, I invite you to stay and see my wool applique. I will have some people that are into wool applique watching my videos, I'm sure. So stay tuned for that. Crazy week for me. There's a lot of storms. We had a lot of storms and rain rolling in. My whole backyard is flooded, waiting for it to dry up so we can mow. It has been crazy. Yesterday was the windstorm came up really quick. I am in Kentucky, South Central Kentucky, and I thought for sure, as quick as that wind came up and started ripping through here, that there was a hurricane. Not a hurricane, a tornado. I'm used to living in Florida where we have hurricanes. I'm not used to this tornado thing. So, of course, I was nervous looking out because it was black out in the clouds and the wind was really strong and it was really fast. And I was panicked for a little while there that we were going to have a tornado, but nothing materialized, which was great. And it kind of blew over. So we're blessed there. I do have lots of different things I want to share with you. I have been, like I said, I've been doing a lot of stitching and stuff, and a lot of times I like to watch and listen to either court TV or true crime. So those are my favorite things to do while I'm stitching, because I can kind of stitch and pay attention to what I'm doing and listening to the storylines and listening to the things. If you don't have Oxygen True Crime on your channel provider, or even if you do have it on your channel provider, there is an actual app that you can download on your TV, and it is Oxygen True Crime, but it is not a live feed. It is episodes that are taped that you can watch, and it is absolutely fantastic. I love watching Cold Justice. There is a prosecutor out of prosecutor out of Texas, and I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, and she travels with detectives and other people that solve crimes, and they go through different states and try to solve cold cases. It is absolutely fabulous. It's called Cold Justice. She also did a series called Prosecuting Evil, which she has 1 or 2 episodes or series, 1 or 2 seasons out in that. I don't know if they're coming out with another one or not, but it looks like Cold Justice the last season was 2023, so she should have a 2024 season. Absolutely fabulous. There's another one called something Murders in Atlanta, which is Atlanta, Georgia, where they go and try to solve cases, or they go through the cases and how they came up with the answers and how they found the person that committed the crimes. Very, very great. Love it. So if you're into those things, you want to do that. If you download the app for Oxygen TV, it will ask you to put in your TV provider. I did not put one in. We don't have a cable internet or cable, I think that is cable internet programming or anything. We don't have Dish or DirecTV or anything like that. The only thing we use is the apps on our TV, and we subscribe to YouTube TV. And so I did not put a subscriber on mine. It almost looked like when I enrolled in it that you would only be able to see so much without entering your provider, which isn't true at all, because you'll notice once you say you have no provider, whatever, and you start it, it'll tell you when you click a program, it'll say you have 3 credits. And I've watched dozens of these shows, and I still have 3 credits. So I don't know what the credit thing is all about, but they certainly don't follow that, and it is just a wonderful app. So if you don't do that, look into it if you love true crime, because you will love it. So I've worked on several things in my stitching, so we'll go over that first. On my whips, I don't have any finishes. I don't have any fully finishes. Like I said, I've done a lot of my wool applique in this last 2 weeks, and I haven't really worked on my cross stitch as much as I would have liked to have. We are going to have some giveaways on this episode. In fact, I'm going to break it up, because with the trifecta, I feel like I need to break it up a little bit, because it would be too much at one time for me to have to put out of my pocket for mailing and stuff at this time, because I'm still not at work. I'm still on a leave from work, and I'm a little tight right now. So anyway, don't want to talk about that. So I will be doing giveaways, but I'm going to do it throughout the video. So you're really going to have to pay attention to be able to see what is going up and what the keywords will be, or the phrase that I want for the giveaways. So we'll do part of it this episode. Then the next episode that I do, we will announce the winners of the first one, and then I will do more on that episode. So episode 100, episode 101 will both have giveaways involved in them. So just hang tight, and as I'm going through, I will just stop and start showing a giveaway. So you're going to have to pay attention. Also, remember, please do not say giveaway, free, or anything else in your comments below. Please be over the age of 18 so you can give me your mailing address. There will be a couple of prizes for over the pond, overseas viewers. I think I'll have one on each video for just people that are overseas or in another country besides the U.S. Something that I can mail flat that's not going to be an issue cost-wise. And then the rest will be in U.S. only, sorry. So let's get started. I've worked on my celebrations, a year in celebrations June. And this is from Hands On Design. And I'm working on the June one, which is, if you guys can see that or not, it's going to be this one right here. And I should have had this done already, because it is not that much left on it. But for some strange reason, it's still sitting lingering on here. And I've had to frog part of it. Everything I've touched in the last 2 weeks in my cross stitch, and even in my wool applique, I've had to frog something. So I am not... Apparently, I'm either not counting right, or I'm not paying attention, or I'm just old and can't do it anymore. But this is June. It is stitched on a 32 count linen, and I believe it is called either Sage. I don't think it's Sage. I think it is, it went right out of my head. Water Lily? I think it's Water Lily. But this is where I'm at with it. And I don't have that much more to do. And you can see I changed my little bird. On the pattern, the bird is black with a turquoisey, like this color, turquoisey tummy. Mine is brown with an orange tummy, because I made it into a robin. Is that right? Oh my God, it just went out of my head. I think think they're robins. Yeah, I think it's a robin. Hello. I have them all over the place, and this is my second time shooting this video, and now I can't remember what the birds are called. Anyway, I turned it into a bird that's in my area. I think it's a robin, right? Is that it? Brown with the orange tummy robin. And so I just have some stuff up here, little vines and stuff throughout it, and then it will be finished, and I can go on to July. I'm trying to get all these done. I have January through May completed. This will be June completed. And I think on the next video, when I start the new one, I'll show you the previous one so you guys can get caught up in what I did. Because the first ones I did were out of Seasons 1 book. And now I'm doing the rest in Season 2 book. And I do change the colors. So these are my own color conversions. I don't normally have the colors that they name. And I just pick my own colors on it. And so most of it is over dyed out of my little stash behind me here. Couple of DMCs, and then I have, for the rest of the seasons, I have a little bag full of 32 count scraps that I'll pick from to stitch the rest. I'm not thrilled about this green, this stiffness. I probably will not use this again, but I think it came out great, and by the time you see me next time, I'll have that fully, not fully, well, I might have it fully finished. I'll have it finished. I will try to get it fully finished before, because I do have a set way of finishing them. So I will try to get that done and fully finished before the next video, but I'm not making any promises. So I'm going to drop all these on the floor, and I will tell you, the birds are just driving us nuts this year. We have a big covered patio that is covered with a wood frame, you know, a roof, and they love to get up in the rafters up there and try to nest. And every spring they build, the robins, they come and they get up there, and they start building their nest, and we have to get up there and pull them down, because if we don't, they make a holy mess with the pooping and everything coming into there, getting up in the eaves. They got poop all along the rafters. It's a holy mess. And so we have pulled down nests now for the last 2 weeks, sometimes almost a full nest. And you would think they would get a hint after the nest is gone that they can't do that. And I've yelled at them out there. I look at them because they stand there and just eye you down. They're standing on the yard looking at you as you're pulling their stuff down. And I'm like, we don't want you here. There's trees all over. Go find a tree. Stop trying to nest here. And then this year, now we've got little birds, I don't know if they're little wrens or what they are, out on the front trying to nest on the shutters that are on the front of the house. So, I mean, you're talking about a gap this, you know, that the shutter's only this far out from the house, and they're trying to nest with mud and other things on top of that. So we're fighting that. And again, they'll sit there on the little trees out front and watch us pull it all, scrape it all down, and then they start all over again. So they just don't get the hint that if they don't stop and find someplace else, they're not going to have a nest this year. So it's a battle. I'm hoping we're going to win that battle. We're getting closer. It's getting a little better. It's not because it's not as bad as it was a couple days. A couple days, there were 3 different nests, 3 different birds. It was like a condo unit up there. Okay, I felt like we were running a condo. They were all up on the rafters, one after another, just nesting. I'm like, no. But the only thing is, I have not seen hummingbirds yet. Normally, we get some of the migrant hummingbirds. Haven't seen them yet. Have my feeders out just in case, but have not seen any as of yet. I have a stitchy friend. She's not too far from me, and she's got one, she said, that popped up the other day. So that means they are coming. So I'm excited about that. Okay, I think I'm missing one of my patterns. I am. I'm going to pause this for just a minute, and then I will come back because I'm missing one of my patterns that I need to show you. So, okay, sorry about that. It was behind me down here. So I looked at my list and I'm like, I'm missing one. So the first one I showed you was the celebrations in June. I did do 774 stitches on that since the last time you saw it, so I'm really close. That should be getting done. I have my Flower a Day, and that is by Carolyn Manning. I will have to show you that on my phone because I don't have it printed out. And there it is there. It is quite a large piece. It was a sal at one time, and I'm just doing it, stitching it as I want to stitch it, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It is on a 36 count avocado by Bestitch Me. I have completed 952 stitches in the last 2 weeks. So this is, and this is the fabric that it's on right here. So there, that's a good representation. Let me get you up close so you can see the pretty stitching. I love this on this fabric. It looks so springy to me. And there we go. Look at that. It looks fabulous. I love all the colors. I'm doing all the called for. It's all called for DMC. And it is just looking so beautiful. I cannot wait. I want to keep working on it all the time. Yeah, I'm doing probably about almost close to 1,000 stitches each time I pull it out. And it looks fabulous on this fabric. This is a beautiful fabric from Bestitch Me. I'm a little blown out because I'm always blown out. I got light up above, I got the light at the window. But love this, have not want to ignore it at any point in time. And so I worked on that for a couple days. I also worked on this piece. I had a couple of people ask me where to find the chart, which was nice. It is an older Leisure Arts chart, but it is so pretty. Summer comes calling. And I really enjoy working on this one. It is on a piece of, did I write it on this one? Let's see. Of course I didn't. There it is. It is hand dyed by Stephanie Snowdrifts. It is a 32 count. It is all called for DMC, and this is where I'm at with it. I put more of, let me get it where it's going here. I put more of the leaves in. I still have just the one birdie there, and I was working over here, putting in leaves and stuff. I completed 307 stitches this time. This fabric looks a little blown out. It's a little, you know, it's a sky blue, but it looks blown out, sorry. So there it is. Loving this as well. This is such a cute, cute pattern. It is an older pattern from, it is leaflet 2310. Looks like it was at the Goodwill for 99 cents. And it is from 1992. So if you're interested, it is beautiful. I'll hold it up so you can see it up close. Absolutely love this pattern. I've had it for a long time wanting to stitch it, and I'm so glad I pulled it out, because once I start on it, I can't stop. It is one of those ones where I will stay on it all day if I can. The next thing I worked on was Fruits of Plenty. Everybody knows this one. It is a Modern Folk embroidery. It looks like this. Lots of people have done this design. It is just a gorgeous design, but it is a handful. It is a lot of stitching. I completed, let's see, I'm on part 2. I'm on February, which would be part 2. I've only done 223 stitches on it, but let's see it anyway. I'm trying to get it unfolded here so you can see it. I finished all of part 1. So there's, let me stand up a little here. So all of part 1 is completed, and then I was working on this. And this is one of the ones where I had to keep frogging all the time. This whole thing I had to frog and redo. I was so aggravated. That's why I only got 223 stitches, because once I have to frog something once or twice and I feel frustrated by it, I just stop. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to stop. But I'm absolutely loving these colors. This is a antique white Lugana. It's by Zweigart, and it is just looking stunning. I love the colors. The colors are just absolutely beautiful. They are, in case you're interested, it is DMC 115, which is the variegated threads, DMC 422, which is the tan. I have a darker, that's the 115 again. I have 2 of those going, because sometimes they run a lot darker. It depends on the skein, so I run 2 of them. For the borders, I am doing 815, which is the darker, and then for the insides, I am doing 321. So absolutely love this piece. I'm probably going to pull it out again today, so I will leave this out so I can work on it. And I definitely will not have this done, I don't think anytime soon, but it does, I don't know, there's just something about it that just makes me happy to work on it if I don't make mistakes. If I, whoops, don't want to zip. If I make mistakes, I don't want to deal with it, because you know as well as everybody else knows that if you stitch in red and you have to pull it out, it's not a pretty sight. It takes quite a bit to get all the fibers out and get the red to disappear. So not absolutely the fun thing. So I worked on Fruits of Plenty. That'll get worked on again today. I worked on Spring, which is by the Cricket Collection. I have Autumn completed. I figured I want to get these seasonal ones done. I like having seasonal ones that fit all the same frame or all the same finish that I can just switch out. So Autumn is done. This one is Spring. So this is book number 307. And you can see it's on a yellow, so it's a little hard to see on theirs. Mine is being stitched on a 32 count. I wrote this down. 32, nope. Bad Jackie. Hold on. It is called, there it is, see? Aha. 32 count Wedgwood Blue, and it is a Zweigart fabric. And this is where I'm at with it. I'm all the way, hold on, let me see if I can get it to. I am all the way across. I was working on the G. I'm trying to figure out if you can see anything without all this glare. So I've got, and you can see I'm missing little parts and pieces on every part of it, but I like to get the letters done and get them in, and then I can work on all the things. And I absolutely love those sunflowers. Those are the cutest sunflowers I have seen in a long time. And they're in, and there's the G, which I'm still working on. I completed 541 stitches on this. It is all called for DMC, but it is a boatload of DMC. A boatload. That's a lot of floss for that little pattern. It has a lot of color. And while I'm sitting here, I'm going to write what this fabric is on my little card. 32 count Wedgwood Blue. And I've showed these cards before. This one's got a little, you know, it's just a little card where I keep all my project trackers, and then on the back it has calendar where I can circle the days that I've worked on it. You can find those on Etsy if you're interested. I have so many different ways of tracking my projects, and it's still hard for me to make sure that I'm marking everything so I don't forget, because I do like keeping track as far as when I stitched on it, how many stitches I got on it, what's the percentage of finishing and stuff. I never really, oops, I forgot the pattern. I never was really one to do that kind of thing. It really didn't matter to me until Markup RXP came along. When Markup RXP came along and I used that as my pattern, it just changed my whole world as far as seeing those things. And it does make you want to work on it more when you see your percentage, how much you're completed. I mean, you can see it on your thing, how far you, but when that thing tells you you're 67% complete, and then it will tell you on your average stitching how long it will take you to finish it, how many days or when the date is that you'll finish it, it is absolutely awesome. It is awesome. So if you don't have RXP, Markup RXP, it is a yearly subscription, but it is well worth it. As long as you're able to scan your patterns to PDF, which is the easiest way. If you buy PDFs, it's absolutely fabulous. It pops them right in, and you normally don't have a problem in the world. I have a printer that has a scanner on it. I can scan to PDF. You can also take a photo of your pattern and do it that way. I have not done that because I can scan mine in, but it is an excellent program. Okay. The next one I worked on was The Way to Happiness. This is a Jardin Privé. And again, I don't have a picture, so I'm going to show you on my phone of what it looks like. Maybe. Maybe not. I've seen it. Where is it? There it is. So this is The Way to Happiness by Jardin Privé. This is a very old freebie pattern. So if you are interested in the pattern, she has a freebie pattern. I will link it below. I'm sure I linked it on the last video, so if I forget to link it below, go to video before and look there, but I have linked it previously that is a freebie pattern. I am stitching on 32 count vintage country mocha, and I did some more lettering on this. So this is where I'm at with it right now. So as you can see, I've done these, all of this. I had part of this done, so I've done this and a little bit more. So that is, like I said, 256 stitches completed. But just a beautiful pattern. Really love it. And I'll continue to work on it. Not pressing for it, but I will pick it up every once in a while when I want to do something different. I'll lean towards this one. And I have to say that I used to wonder how people could have 50 and 60, 70, 80, 90 whips. And because I was always wanting to keep under 25, but I can't seem to control myself lately. So I have probably 27 whips, 28 whips right now, and there may be more in my future because I can't seem to control it. So let's do our first giveaway. The first giveaway is going to be my pattern of Santa of the Forest. So if you have wanted to stitch Santa of the Forest, and it is the complete pattern, it is not marked up at all, and it's still in pristine condition. I only made a photocopy of it and used the photocopy. I'm going to ask you to say Santa in your comments below for a chance to win this, and this will be US only because it is a thicker pattern. It's going to be US only, so Santa for Santa of the Forest. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show is my new start, because it looks like I've shown all my whips. I started this new start because I went on and wanted to start something new, and I felt like I needed to purchase something to start something new. I didn't need to go through my stash. I don't know why I keep doing that, where I feel like, oh, I feel like stitching spring or summer. Let me just find another pattern PDF that I can buy that I can just stitch, instead of just looking in my files to figure out something I want to stitch. And I had it all planned. I picked a PDF pattern, and I'll share that when I show you what my purchases are. And then somebody showed this particular pattern, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about this. This is a freebie, and it's so cute, and it reminds me of a cross between, oh my God, what's his name? Charlie Harper, which I absolutely adore, and Prairie Schooler. That's what I consider this, a cross between Charlie Harper and Prairie Schooler, and it is called Bird Herd. It is a freebie pattern, and you can buy it in two different ways, Bird Herd or Bird Nerd from Boomerang Stitches. It is a freebie. You can go on to their Etsy, not their Etsy, they do have an Etsy shop. Boomerang Stitches does have an Etsy shop, and she has two patterns on there right now, which are really, really nice. There's a shark, like a Jaws pattern, and then there's a floral one. They're very beautiful. But this freebie, you'll have to go to their Instagram, and she has a link in the Instagram for you to download this pattern in either Bird Herd or Bird Nerd. And of course, I had to start it because, like I said, it reminds me of Charlie Harper and a little bit of Prairie Schooler. So I was like, I got to start this. So I did. And it is being stitched on a, I think it's a 16 count Heritage. Picture this plus, and this is my dinky little start of the bird in the middle with the tail and then the beginning of his head. So there it is. That's a good color representation. This is like a green, like that. So that's my little start that I did last night on the Bird Herd, because I love birds and I think that is absolutely adorable. And the designer is also part of the, what is it called? Hold on. Hathaway Stitchers. That's with Amity is her name. She is the one, and she has a cell called Bird Herd Sal. So I'm going to start posting, when I post this, I'm going to start posting to that cell, and she is the designer of this, and hopefully she'll come out with some more patterns just like this because I love them. So that was a lot of fun. I started that last night, and I must have stayed up till 10 o'clock working on this last night. So I loved working on that. So that's all the cross stitch that I did. I do have some purchases that I'd like to share with you. The first is, and you're going to hear crinkling because I did not take this out of the plastic. I took everything else out of the plastic. I did not take this. This is my Bestitch Me fabric of the month, and it is 32 count Lugana, and this is in Gold Rush. So there it is there. Beautiful. It is a gorgeous fabric. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I absolutely love it. I might have another piece in linen as well, but this is I chose Lugana, and this is really beautiful. I love working on Lugana. Lugana is just an easy thing to stitch on. Your stitching always looks perfect, and I did learn one thing about my stitching and how my stitching looks, that if I don't have it tight in a hoop, then it doesn't look right. I was working on the bird herd last night, and I was using my Morgan hoops. I talked about them in the tips and tricks. I have a couple of Morgan hoops, and I started out on that tail, and I wasn't drum tight. And I don't know if you can tell or not. Let me see. I don't know if I can show that so you'll be able to tell. If you look at, here, let's see if you can tell. If you look at the tail, which is the blue, you can see that the stitches aren't exactly perfect. I started railroading at one point because I wasn't happy with the stitches. But then I tightened up my hoop really tight and did the head, and you can see they are fabulous. Look at that. They look fabulous. So I have learned nothing else. I need to keep my fabric drum tight in my Morgan hoops. And I used to use the spring tension hoops, and I still use them. It's just that they do not hold the fabric tight enough for my stitches to lay perfect. And I mean, on the head, it is perfect. So that's another tip or trick. If you're using something, whether it's your scroll frames, whether it's your Q-snaps, whatever you're using, keep your fabric drum tight. It will help your stitches look smoother and more uniform. So it's really makes a big difference. And I noticed it last night when I was being lazy and didn't tighten it up enough. So, okay, so I got my fabric. I did get a couple of things from Needlework Market. I think that's what it was called. Can't remember. Nashville Market, Needlework Market. And they were both, the only pre-orders that I did was Teresa Kogut, because I just absolutely loved. And these are the first Teresa Kogut's that I have owned. I mean, I love her patterns and stuff, but I always feel like some of her patterns are too dense. Like the snow, you can see the Santa ones and the snowman ones. It's a lot of dense stitching, and that's not really my thing. I don't mind it. It's just that it's a lot. And so when I saw Serenity come out, I was like, I have to have that. And I know a lot of people felt the same way about this pattern. And what got me was the alphabet got me, as well as the flowers. And I think that the roses that are there that are white with a little bit of pink, and the deer. I mean, it was just amazing. I love, love, love it. I have not started it yet. I know a lot of people jumped on it and started it. I did not want to do that because I don't like to stitch what everybody else is stitching. So this will go and get kitted at some point, and I will start it when it calms down, so other people can look at it again. And the other one I got was her book, Hello Spring. I adore this book. Absolutely adore this book. There are so many, and I know everybody's shown these patterns before, but Strawberry Delight. I absolutely love that. Love it on the black. Just adorable. Cherry Jubilee. Again. I love it. It's got just enough of dense stitching on the bird, and that's it. And the rest of it's a little airy, which is nice. And then my favorite is Sweet Wren, which I'm going to kit that up. I don't have any pink fabric, but I'm going to dye some pink Lugana, and I'm going to get that kitted up. It is all DMC, and the only thing I want to say about Teresa and her patterns is, and I know enough of you have seen her patterns to know that they're huge. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much for making your patterns big enough for old people to see and stitch on. I'm like, I love this. I love this. These patterns are so big. You don't need a magnifier to see them. They're beautiful. It's just, I love it. I love that the pattern is so big. Even in Serenity, the pattern is so big. It's just so big. So absolutely love it. Thank you, Teresa, for continue making your patterns that size, because I don't care how many pages it is, as long as I can see it. So that's that. And then we're going to do another giveaway. This one is for non-US citizens only, because this will be easy for me to mail without excessive pricing. This is by Nikki Creations Primitives. It is called Be Friend. And I will say that this is a pattern that was used before. It had some marking on the legend in pencil. I did erase it, but you can still slightly see the pencil mark, but it has nothing to do with the chart and reading anything. It looks fabulous. And this is for international only. And if you will say friend, then you will be entered into the drawing for this particular pattern. Remember all the things I said at the beginning, no saying free, no giveaway, no other words, just friend. Okay, so that's number 2. Next, I made a purchase from 1884 Stitchery. She always has these spots in her thing where she does $2 patterns or whatever. I hadn't really looked at it before, but I somehow saw that she had this in there. I don't know if it was a link or something else that I saw, and I decided to go over and take a look because I am strapped. I can't really afford to buy anything, but I like to keep something coming. It kind of keeps my spirits up and stuff. And so I bought Spring Iris. This is an Erica Michaels cross stitch, and it is from 2004. I've never seen it before, but I love irises. And this one is really pretty. So there's the book. And then if I move in, you can see, look how nice those are. I love that big one with the, yeah, I love it. I love it on the pillow too. Look at how bright and cheery it is, the colors. I think it has a little butterfly or something. Yeah, it might be a butterfly button, but oh my gosh, that is so pretty. And I love irises. And it's so funny because yesterday on my way home, I looked at my neighbor next door's yard, and she has purple irises around her mailbox. And I'm like, oh, just beautiful, beautiful. And then I picked this one up for $2 as well. This is a crosswing collection I had looked at many, many times, but for $2. It is Backwater Woody. There's the wood duck. Again, just, I love these patterns. I certainly don't stitch enough of them. I have such a large collection of them. I should always have one on the go. Right now, I do not. I need to pick something. I think I have one kitted, and I just need to start it. So maybe that'll be my next new start. I'll start that one that I have kitted. Okay. I have one other new thing that I want to start. I don't think I have a picture for this though. These are the, I don't think I have a picture. I probably don't. I have the pattern here that I printed out from the Just Cross Stitch magazine. It is the chalk series from Hands On Design that has the spring, summer, fall, and winter. And I completed the spring one. I showed that, the spring and chalk. This one is chalk, Seasons in Chalk Fall, but I don't have the picture of it. But it is the fall pattern with the pumpkin. And I had pulled out my 32 count charcoal Lugana to start it on, because I really want, like I said, I have that house that I framed it on, that has the magnets on it, and I want to be able to flip it out, and all I have done is spring. So, and I know I don't have enough time to get summer done, so I said maybe I would get fall done if I stuck on it. So I pulled that out to get it kitted up. Any other stitchy things? I think that was it. I did spend some time making some wool little toppers for my Erica Michaels berries. I've stitched so many different berries, so I have little. That's a little flower. That's if you were ever a scrapbooker, and a lot of people are multi-crafters. People that have stitched, they've done multiple different crafts. I've done multiple different crafts. I have a lot of scrapbooking supplies still, and I have a little die cut machine and the thin metal dies, and I pulled one out that was a flower shape, and I started cutting out different shapes and sizes of, so I can make the toppers for my strawberries. So I've got all different little flowers. There's little purple ones, little yellow ones. They're just, and then little leaves. So I'm thinking I'm going to multi-stack them. So it'll be like that. And then little leaves on them. And then a little button or something at the top. So I cut out a ton of different colored ones. So when I start finishing my strawberries, that I can actually put tops on them. And I think that's all I have for cross stitch. Let's show another giveaway item. This here was a gift from my friend Cathy, Crafty Cat Stitcher, and she gifted this series to me, and I finished it. I showed it as a finish, and I'm going to give this away to another stitcher. This one is called Life's a Journey. It is a 6-part series, so that is the first one. Second one, Take Time for Yourself. Third one, Enjoy the Little Things. Nope, 5-part. Listen to Your Dreams. Nope, it's 6. Love with an open heart. And Be Happy Today. And it looks like this on the back. And I've shown that. You can go back in previous video and see that completed. I didn't do mine like this. I did mine 3 across, 2 down. So I did 3 and 3. And this also will include, I want to thank Cathy. Thank you so much for the pattern. Again, I absolutely loved it. Loved doing it. It does include the rainbow glisten gloss that you will need. It does not include the buttons because I used the buttons in the charms. So I'm going to pick someone. This is USA only, and we're going to use the word journey. So if you use the word journey, then we will do a drawing in 2 weeks. And for that, so that's 3 things, and then I've got one more item that I made, and it is a project bag. Again, this is US only, please. I am so sorry for those of you that are overseas. I cannot afford to ship this overseas, but it is a Garden Friends project bag. It is a bird bag. It's got the charm. That's got a little bird at a watering fountain hanging on it. Okay, it unzips. This is 12 by 14 approximation, and it has a green matching fabric inside. And surprise, surprise, a new little element. It has a pocket in the back. So you can put your pattern in the back here, protected, and then put your supplies inside. And that's the first time I've made it a pocket on the back of one of my bags. And it is got some good, it is filled with batting. And the back pocket has been stabilized with a stabilizer. And so if you want to enter for the project bag, say the word bird, and you'll be entered for the project bag. And that's going to be the last thing that I'm doing on a giveaway for this episode. That is all of it. So that's 4 items. And I just want to mention a few Flosstubers that I have watched in the last couple weeks. Again, I've mentioned Crafty Cat Stitcher, which is Cathy. She did an episode called Favorite Cross Stitch Items that she has. Excuse me, I've got to get a drink. Sorry, getting dry throat. And it was fabulous, showing different things. They're not necessarily cross-stitch items, some of them, but she shares how she uses everyday items for her cross-stitch. Was absolutely great. I saw beautiful fabulous ideas that I might look into getting. She tells you where she got the items. So if you haven't seen that before, I'll post a link down below so that you can check out that video. New to me, well, I've been watching Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. So I absolutely love what she's stitching on because she is very eclectic like I am. I don't know how many videos she has out. She's not a new Flosstuber, but I do love her channel, so I want to share that below if you haven't watched Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. I've got two new channels that I have been watching. One is Sally Stitches And. That's what it says, Sally Stitches And. She does a lot of different type of stitching. She loves frosted pumpkin. So if you're a frosted pumpkin stitchery fan, she is a must-see because she has a lot of frosted pumpkin. She loves their products. She also loves JBW designs, so she does those. So just a lot of different projects and stuff, but definitely the frosted pumpkin. If you're a fan of frosted pumpkin, you will love her. She has 2 Flosstubes out right now, so I will link her below. Also, Kate. I think her channel is just listed as Kate. She is Katie. She has 3 videos out, and I love how she does her presentation of her projects. She doesn't show face and do like we do. She does it on the table and stuff, but she does an intro on her channel so you can see her and listen to her talk. And she is in the Midwest somewhere, and has some beautiful kits. She does a lot of kit stitching, which it is nice, and she talks about the kits and how she prepares for them and the stitching and what she stitched on and stuff like that. So absolutely love Katie. I've already watched all 3 of her episodes, and I've got her on my favorites. And I'm not sure why I wrote the other things, because you know, I leave myself notes and then I don't explain to myself why I wrote that, so I have no idea what that is. Okay, so that is it for my cross stitch. If that's all that you're here for, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for watching. Thank you for being a subscriber. 4,000 is just incredible. I never thought in a million years that I would get up to the 3,000 mark, but I'm already over the 4,000 mark, and I'm just thrilled to pieces. I will get the other video uploaded in the next week. I will do it in little episodes, and then I'll just piece them together and get it uploaded. You will not want to miss seeing it, okay? Because again, it's going to be absolutely fabulous information that you're going to love. Yeah, 6 years on Flosstube. I'm just shocked that I can say that 6 years on Flosstube. I started in 2017. Nope, 2018? 2018. Yep, 2018. I started back cross-stitching in 2017, and then I jumped into Flosstube on 2018. So, just a long time, but I still love doing it. I still love sharing. I didn't have anyone to talk about cross-stitch with when I started this thing. I didn't know anyone who cross-stitched, and it has been great, and now up to 4,000 subscribers, and I have a group that I stitch with locally once a month, which is awesome. And we have 2 other groups that we visit that are further up, and we try to do those, you know, when we can. So it is absolutely awesome. And then 100 episodes. So here we go, 100. Finally, after 6 years, I made 100 episodes. So, and that doesn't include my special, because I don't label my Flosstube extras as a count. So there are definitely many more videos out there that I've done beyond the 100. If you go to my playlist on my channel, you'll see there are how-to videos. Lots of different things if you haven't already done that. Besides the tips and tricks, there's dyeing fabric. There is pulling slubs, getting slubs out of your linen. There is how to make floss drops. All different things. So, you know, if you haven't seen those, go to my channel, hit playlist, and you'll see those things pop up, and you might find some things there you find very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to share my wool applique with you. I have had this series that has come in for the last 5 months, and I started it, and then I got overwhelmed with it and stopped for quite a while. I was getting them, but I wasn't really doing it because I was overwhelmed with the different stitches and stuff, and how to conquer, how to get it on there right. But since then I have figured all that out, and I'm thrilled to death now that I'm rolling again on it. It started out, and it's called Gingerbread Bake Shop. It is by Vicki McCarty, which is Calico Patch Designs. She has this monthly block of the month. And this is the first block, which is, I've showed this before on my channel, which is the Christmas tree that looks like the gingerbreads. And this is where I'm at with part 1. And I haven't touched this. I'm going to get back into it, so I want to show you guys this. So when I start stitching on it again, that you'll know where I was before. And I'm going to stand up because it's going to make it easier. This is, I gotta back up. This is block 1. So I've got it all attached, and you can see there is stitches there on the star, and all the way down there are blanket stitches. So most of the blanket stitches are completed. There's the little gingerbread men with their bow ties, and all the way down. So I got this far with this, and then I got a little frustrated and overwhelmed, and decided that I would try to do the easy parts, which is cutting out the applique pieces. And let me see, I have one of them here that shows you how the pattern comes. So they come just on a sheet. Hold on. Okay, so it just comes on a sheet with a bunch of pieces, and you trace it onto freezer paper if that's the technique you want to use, or Heat and Bond Light, or another fusible. I do use fusible on mine. I use Heat and Bond Light, and then I use soft fused as well. And you trace this all onto your tracing paper, and you put it on your wool, and you iron it on there. So it's on there, you cut it out, it makes little shapes, and I'll show you those in a minute. And then you iron it down and adhere it to it. And stitch, and they tell you what stitches to do and what you're going to do, right? So you can see that there's these little lines that look like a netting. You see there's stitching all over this. There's all this different stitching. So I did part 1, and I got stuck because I felt a little overwhelmed. So I started cutting out the other ones because I am new. I'm fairly new to wool applique. Hold on, I got pins in this. And I didn't, hold on. I just felt I'm just going to say I felt overwhelmed. So I started part 2, and part 2 was this, Gingerbread Bake Shop. And these are big pieces. You can see what block 1 looks like. Block 2 is not any smaller, and it's going to make a wall hanging when it's done. And so I got them all stuck on there. And then I figured out how to transfer what I needed to do. So here is part 2. I'm part way done with this right now. I've got all the letters, the gingerbread letters on the top completed. They have little specialty stitches on it, and then they're blanket stitched on around the edges. I've got my little gingerbread men on there. I haven't put their eyes and buttons, and I still have to stitch around their bow ties. But I figured out, this is one of the things that drove me nuts, was trying to figure out all these little white stitches in all of these pieces and how to get it transferred. I did all this here, which is all transferred and then stitched on. I have the block here. I still have to put in Bake Shop, and then the other one. So I feel really good at this point working with this and getting this completed and how I'm going to get it completed. And I still have to put some trims and stuff around it. If you look at it, it has a large rickrack around it with wool applique on each corner and a button. Let's see if I can get it close enough so you can see. And as you can see, at Bake Shop. And then it's got wording in the banner down here. So I still have to put some things in. I still have stuff to work on. So I'm going to continue to work on this one until it's completed, and then I'm going to jump back to number 1 and finish the tree. So that's number 2. And I'm really enjoying it because in this block of the month. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute in case you don't know anything about wool applique, or you know about wool applique and you haven't seen this before. This is a monthly block of the month. It is for 8 months, and she has a special Facebook group for the block of the month. Now, if you do not want to purchase, I'm sticking myself with a needle here. If you do not want to purchase the kits, so it has all the supplies, and you want to supply your own stuff, you can join the Block of the Month Club on Facebook and get all just the patterns for $40. So there'll be PDF patterns that she downloads to the group, and you can print them out, buy yourself some wool applique or wool, use some floss. You don't have to use, I don't know why I'm looking this way when it's this way. You don't have to use special wool threads or anything. You can use DMC thread to do your stitches. You can buy regular fabric, because a lot of this is regular fabric. This is just regular cotton fabric, and you can get that anywhere. Hobby Lobby, fabric store. You could buy, if you don't have wool or you don't want the expensive wool, you can buy wool felt online on Etsy. There's lots of great stores. I will link below a couple of stores that do sell wool felt. You could go to Hobby Lobby or Joann's or anybody and buy just felt and use that and cut the pieces out and attempt it. This is a really big piece to attempt to do. There are so many groups on Facebook that wool groups. Wool applique is one. There's several of them, and I'll list a couple of them below if you just want to look into it. I know everybody says I don't need another hobby, but this really is relaxing for me, and it's not so intense that I have to keep looking at a pattern, looking back, because once I get it rolling, I know where I'm going with it, and I don't have to keep looking at a pattern. I can just enjoy the stitching without doing that. But I'll link them below, because you can get freebie patterns on these sites. Everybody is listing, all these companies that own wool shops, they list freebie patterns quite frequently, and you can attempt to do it on a small scale with just a few supplies. If you need help, let me know. I'll be glad to do a video on beginning wool applique. Just let me know down below if that's something you're interested in, and I will be glad to do that. You can also go on YouTube and just look up wool applique, and you'll see shops doing demonstrations on how to do it, what supplies you need, yada yada yada. So anyway, that's the second one, and you can see this is going to be a huge wall hanging as far as I'm concerned. That was part 2. Block 3 is trains. So far, the only thing I've gotten done on block 3 is, and every one of these comes with little charm packs. So you have little tchotchkes you got to put on there. This is just the fabric that it's going on. So again, it's a nice big piece. Okay, and it's just a plaid or a check pattern. Not even a check. Would that be considered a, it almost reminds me of a, oh, I can't even think of it now. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. It'll pop in my head in a minute. And I've got all the patterns cut out. I've got the main train cut out, and I've got the middle one cut out, and some of them, this is stuck together. I've already got it fused, and I just have to put the wheels and stuff on it. And then this one too, I've already got it fused. I just need to put the train wheels, I don't think they're called wheels, but whatever you want to call them. I have to put those on and get it on here. So I've got it set, so I don't know if it's still showing or not. I have chalk marks. Do I have chalk marks, or did they all wear off? They're very faint. You wouldn't be able to see them. So I have some chalk marks on here to tell me where the placement of the train goes. So that's what I use. I use a chalk to kind of mark where I'm supposed to place the train. And so I've gotten that far on part 3. Part 4, which was smaller, has candy canes, and there are 2 of these. And these were much smaller. So I've got these. I think that goes with that. I've got these already fused on here. Haven't done any stitching yet, but these are a lot smaller, so I can kind of do these rather quickly, but there they are. And this is, again, this is like, I wanted to call that homespun, but it doesn't feel like homespun, but it kind of looks like it. It's just a print. And there's the second one. So lots of fun, easy to do. The stitching is the hardest part, and once you get the hang of it, I love it. I enjoy doing it. It gives me a lot of joy. And then the last one is part 5 that I've received. And it is a 3-parter, and it has Mr. Claus, and he is a gingerbread Mr. Claus, a gingerbread Mrs. Claus, and a gingerbread house. And they are all rather small. So there's 3 of these little blocks. You can see this is not a big piece of fabric, so they're smaller. And again, I've got each of them cut out in their own little Ziploc bags. I have not fused them together or fused them on the fabric yet. And they also have a goodie bag involved. So that's all the parts right now, and I'm working on them little by little, try to play catch up on it. The biggest part, like I said, was getting over the fear of how to get the stitches on my fabric properly. And I have been using, and I know this, most people say don't do that, so what I'm saying is how I'm doing it, and it's working for me. Number 1, I'm using on the actual fabric. Yeah, you can see the back. See, the back has all the knots and stuff from the stitching. On the actual fabric, I am using the friction pens. So I drew all this out. I just traced it. I laid the fabric on top of the pattern. You could definitely use a light box. I didn't use the light box. I could see it just fine. And I traced it with a friction pen. And then once I got the stitching in, I just used an iron to take the friction away. The other thing that I'm using, especially on the gingerbread and dark fabrics, is I'm using a white gel pen. And again, it goes on, it's like, it looks chalky when it goes on, and it wipes off. I haven't had the gel pens not come off of the wool, because the wool is very airy, and it's not something solid that you're making a line on. So that's how I've been doing it, and I can learn how to get the stitches. I gotta do them really small to make them look good, and practice, practice, practice. Once you get it down, just like cross stitch, it is lots of fun to do. So I've been working on that. I also have been working on making, I don't know if I have a picture or not. I've seen these flower bouquets done in wool applique, in wool. And let me see if I have a picture of one. Because I took a picture of a whole bouquet. And then I took a picture of, let's see, like this. Here we go. Like this. And I thought that was really cute. And I said, I could do that. And I started making them. And I found these patterns online, and I will put a link below. And it's called Homemade Gifts Made Easy. And she has PDFs of all sorts of things. Flowers, hearts, stars, and from 7" down to 1". And basically they look like this. So this is what I used as my template for my flowers. Right? I can get them in the size I want. Awesome. Trace them onto whatever paper I'm using, whether it's the freezer paper or whatever. And I started cutting them out. And this is what I'm working on right now. These are my white flowers. So there it is. I put a bunch of French knots in the middle. I wish I had done them in white. I don't want to pull them out because they're attached to this at this point, so I'm going to leave it. But there's my little flower. It's going to get stuffed with fiberfill, and then it will get some kind of stem. I have these chopsticks. I thought maybe I could wrap in floral tape, or I'll find something else to use as a stem, and then put some flower or put some leaves on it and make my own. So I have that one, and then I have this one here, and I haven't finished this one yet because I still have stitching to do on it, but this one I might do the white center. I might do beads on it instead of French knots. I might do some beads on it and then finish stitching and go around. So I've got 2 I've got going right now. I'm probably going to do a couple more flowers, maybe in different colors besides white, but just something to play with. You blanket stitch around the edge. This is all blanket stitch here, blanket stitch here, blanket stitch here, and then French knots in the center. And then it's blanket stitched all the way around. I left it open with the string hanging so I could get it stuffed. But the patterns, again, I will post these down below. and make sure that you know where to find them. Wool templates. And I thought it was cool that there were all these templates that I could use. And I'm sure I could find flower things in some of my stuff or other things or buy a pattern, but I'm a frugal person. I don't buy patterns every time I turn around. I will use just about anything as a pattern. I will use coloring pages, I will use vector drawings, I will use whatever I want to use, or I'll pull bits and pieces from other patterns that I may have, or a lot of freebie patterns, So again, easy to do if you want to learn how to do it, and you can just do it with a needle, some floss, and some wool felt or felt from the craft store, and play with it and such. So that is my sharing of my wool applique right at the moment. I did get a few things for wool applique in the last couple weeks, so I'll share that. Also on 1884 Stitchery, she had a punch needle, and this is punch needle, it's not wool applique, but I got that for $2, and it shows wool applique as well. It's got a ladybug and a leaf. It's got a ladybug and a leaf that is a scissor fob, which is adorable. So it came with what I needed. It came with a little strip of wool. It came with the templates, the finishing tips, and everything. So I got that for $2. I got this on eBay because I just liked it. It is charcoal mittens. I mean, just a simple kit. And it comes with everything. It was under $10. And it's something that I can make little mittens to hang on my tree. And then I went on, and that's what I forgot to show you, on Etsy, and made a purchase. I made a cross-stitch purchase and an embroidery purchase. The embroidery purchase is this. I purchased actual embroidery because I saw this pattern, and I love all the different flowers, and it was $1. And along with the template of, and you can kind of see it through the thing here, you can kind of see it through here, it tells you where the videos are to show you how to do all the different stitches, which is absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to try to do this because I think it's pretty. I love it. I love all the dimension. I think that's pretty cool. And for $1, and I can use just DMC floss, and I can watch some videos to see how it's done and follow along. I said I can do that. So I got that, but I also got this pattern for cross stitch. And the reason I got it was not only because it was cheap, it was a couple bucks, but those four little corners with the birds, I thought those would make cute little ornaments, cute little pillows. So that's why I got it, but I like the whole thing. So, but I like the little birds. I think the little birds, you can see there, they would make cute little individual cross stitch. I think I paid a couple bucks for the pattern. So, and then I got buttermilk basins, pick of the crop book. I got that off of Etsy, and I love this here. I have this thing about squirrels and acorns, and this has a lot of cool patterns, including how to make pears. If you like making strawberries cross stitch, how about making some pears? How about making some, I know there's other ones in here, hold on. How about making some pumpkins? You can make pumpkins out of wool felt. How about acorns? Make acorns. Don't involve really any decorative stitching, just bowl fillers, as we like to call them. Trying to think, there's wool flowers again. Look at those, sunflowers. You could do sunflowers. All the patterns are in the book. So super cool. Picked that up. Wasn't that much. I don't think I paid less than $10 for it. And then I got this one I ordered from a quilt shop because patriotic is me. And it is a wool applique in a quilt. And I just had to have it. I love it. So all those little individual squares are will applique and then sewn together to make a quilt. And I love that. Don't know when I'll get to it, if I'll get to it, but I loved it and I wanted to have it. So I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else. Thank you so much for joining me today, sticking with me for this whole hour and seeing all the things that I'm working on. Let me know down below what you're working on. If you're on Instagram, please join me on Instagram at Cross My Stitches and show me what you're working on. And you will catch some updates. I'm not really good at staying on Instagram, but I really need to get there. So I will try to make a conscious effort to post more on Instagram. I get on these little things where I'll post, and then I stop, and I get too busy to take pictures, and so I really need to do that. So I will try to make a conscious effort to posting more on Instagram, but friend me on Instagram so I can see what you're working on. Let me know that you're watching my videos. So I will see you next time, and until then, happy stitching, have a wonderful day, and look forward to that video on the Tips and Tricks Part 2 that will come up within the next week. Bye. Oh.